Watch out for scammers. Watch out for the people that will try to use your alcohol addiction against you. They're gonna be coming up with some perfect claims that they can fix you totally. They can make you stop completely. They make you just magically heal your problem, fix your problem. But unfortunately, the money will be involved in that because they try to monetize everything these days. And the biggest trick on the planet Earth is to keep you within this addiction and convince you that you're not going to be able to get it over yourself. So that's why you need me now. And if I can get out the money off of you, that's even better. You're never going to see the people they try to, or maybe few, individuals who they're going to be trying to give you something for free. So that knowledge which they try to keep for themselves because I'll be able to sell something. We as honest people, we don't hide this. We want to share it. And that's where the value comes in. Not the value on holding something back and trying to keep people around you because, if I convince you that you need me, you're always going to be here for me. No, that's not how it doesn't work. For me, it's better if anyone, for instance, let's say like on my example, I'm sharing something. If anyone will use any information here and he can use it or she can use it and create the safe environment for yourself that you're gonna get better, and you go out later in the world and you can find your way, make yourself in the right spot where you want to be, which is without the alcohol. That's fantastic. you know Not creating a situation that I can get it myself, I can get it this, I need that person. So what definitely now is a kind of some subscription going on. So in perspective that you're subscribing for something, you're paying, and you've got some money going down, and then this is like using your addiction and your fears and your insecurities against you because you're gonna start thinking that without now down there, being down there, paying down there, I can get it through. That's not true. That's totally not true. But when you're down on your knees, when you try to get help anywhere you can get and you don't get what you want, then you start trying anything. Anything, specifically if you are in a place that you really sick of tired being somewhere when you wanna get out, get it better, do it better, be better, and then you're trying everything you possibly can. First of all, addiction doesn't go nowhere. It's not you're gonna be completely healed and now you're saved. It's always gonna be there. You're always gonna be vulnerable. It's like, let's say that you in a point like you don't drink anymore, but someone offers you alcohol, right? That's one of the triggers. Or like I was always saying, that no one suddenly is gonna take all the alcohol away from the planet Earth just because you don't drink right now. It doesn't work that way. But then you're learning and then you getting to know yourself, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then you are using them tools like knowing about the triggers, knowing about the other things which they make you vulnerable, and you kind of are learning how to live above that, right? You don't defeat, the problem. You just know how to navigate around the world so you don't get yourself back into that place, or you have a situation like you know how to keep yourself away from it, or how just drop yourself some kind of a rescue a bag tool so you're not gonna fall back into addiction because you have understanding, because you know yourself, which is very important. You know how the things are working for you. You know from the past, from the history, what you've been doing and it doesn't work. And any kind of a way of trying to justify creates these problems. And then suddenly everything, which all these nightmares and all these problems you've been sitting on, they're going back to you. But if you look from perspective, every time you start providing yourself with everything which was working for you, suddenly you're getting out better because that's how does it work. This is the best way and the best work you can always do for yourself. Using everything you know, knowing yourself, knowing how you react to something, and even if you got very wise and very kind of a understanding yourself what you're doing, you know that being smarter and being stronger and keeping up all the time and being on toes and creating that safe environment that you just literally know what's gonna happen if you do A, B, C, and you know that you don't want to be there. That is your power. That is your strength. That is something you kind of control in yourself. Because even if you have some kind of a people they helping you around, that it's very difficult to have them people 24/7 next to you. Okay, so you kind of learning that kind of a self-respect to your decisions, self-respect to yourself in terms of knowing how important this is for me to keep myself in this place or not in that place. And specifically with alcohol addiction, the line is very slim. So even before we get into to be addicted, it's line very slim. And then when you are sober and going back to being addicted the other way around in terms of going backwards, it's the same slim line. So understanding this is very important. And nobody's gonna serve you with any perfect pill, perfect solution, because things where we are and things what we do constantly changing around us. So them guys, them scammers, they always gonna be playing with the people they desperate, okay? They're desperate, the people they try to find a way because you wanna be in that your promised land. And that trick is only to convince you that you can't do it without them. So here's the thing, when they're doing anything, they're doing some kind of therapies, they're doing some knowledge you don't have, because they're sitting, directly within this. So they have all these scenarios. Even when you do some kind of a therapies, you're doing some courses or places, when you're seeing, visiting, doing, and whatever that is, you're always taking in perspective that they got a bigger knowledge than you. They got a bigger knowledge than you, and when you contact them, they're gonna take some informations about you, about your background, and they're gonna be trying to use that to keep you in that safe, sweet spot. So you're gonna be kind of having a fear of let it go of contact with that person, just because you're gonna be kind of convinced that every time you try to do by yourself, only by yourself, you will fail. When you relapse, then you come back to them or whatever, they're gonna be trying to tell you, yeah, you see, I told you, if you stay with me, it's not gonna happen, or we can fight this away. And as I'm saying, it's not a shame, it's not a problem with that someone tried to help someone and he wants to be monetized for that. It's okay. But then practice when you taking money away from people, but you're not actually helping them. You just try to keep them, just above the level of the water so they don't drown. So they're gonna be kind of hooked and looped to you. That's not nice. That's definitely not nice. And they do that. They do that because the best way to drain the money away from you is to keep you constantly convinced that you can do it yourself, or that you are, like that kiddo which gets to the stage when he's 18 years old and is supposed to fly out of home, start his own home or her own place, job, and just go into the world by itself. But now you're gonna be trying to convince them, no, 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 that's not a good time now. This is, don't do it. Yeah, don't do it because you got some benefits from. And that's very not fair. That's very not cool. And I definitely always have to take something from pinch, like all the informations you're receiving, you should take from pinch, from perspective of taking a pinch of salt. All right. Don't take in consideration that everything has been said. It will work for you. Everything has been said has to be that way. I'll put it this way. If you want to travel somewhere, there's a few ways of getting to that spot, getting to that destination. You can do on a bike, you can walk, you can, use the train, you can use the bus, you can fly, you got a car, you can go through the forest, you can go on the pavement, whatever. Everyone's, trip and everyone's, experiences might be different, but those guys are using one thing because they have certain pattern, right? Basic pattern, and some kind of a plan how you can do all them things. And then they doing some kind of a psychology or sociology is involved in that, when they try to create the pattern of the person, and all the informations they're getting from you, they kind of being put it into some kind of a little tumbler, when they're gonna mix everything together, and then they will try to get it the best scenario for you. But typically the best scenario for you is you doing something and getting practice on something and seeing how you feel, seeing where it's getting to you, seeing if it's working for you, because nobody knows better yourself as you, right? There's plenty things which they're gonna be very beneficial. I'm not denying that. It's okay. It's fine. And but just don't get yourself into the position that someone's gonna try to, talk you through something that you're supposed to be there because this is the only way of doing it. Just because you can see that as well. There's many people they trying to say to you can only do this like this, you can only do this like that. Yeah, it worked for them. All right? That's why they're so convinced to it. And it's creating a lot of BS later, unfortunately. Because you go in the same way, you're trying to copy and paste and it doesn't work. Do you know why not that does you know why it's not working? It's not working because it did work for them, but you could be a little bit different. So going to the same patterns, to the same behaviors could be completely not beneficial for you. Maybe you can use some stuff. So I take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, then I mix it together and create my own kind of a way of doing it. And it will work. Don't fall to the kind of a thinking like, without the therapy you can't do it, it's impossible, you're always gonna be going down there, you're always gonna be like this, and that will be always happen to you. You don't know me, you don't know how I react. I know, basically I know myself better than you, because it's very difficult as well to provide someone with all the informations, because that takes too much time. It's just like no one's going to be digging very much into your past, because they try to create as fast a thing as they can, so that creating situations that are like a little bit like in a factory, right? The more people I will get, the more money I will be getting from them, so I need to speed up this process. And you can actually see that anything later comes more about monetization something, or rather than trying to help the people, because something might work on, scammy wise work on one person, so they're gonna be releasing the same scam on others and others and others. It will be slightly some of them helping you, because there will be some things you did not, let's say, realize, or you not being aware of. But then the whole trick is to just to twist that around you, so you're gonna be thinking that this is the best way for you. The first steps when you actually making in the sobriety, they will be kind of a shape in you, because another thing is, you know yourself from the point when you've been drinking, but you don't know yourself from the point when you are sober. Our natural state is being sober. It is. I mean, look at this. You got born. You hadn't been drunk there. You've been totally sober. And there was some years before you touched the alcohol. I'm not even talking about, combined natural thinking that it's not healthy, because, young body is kind of developing itself. So it's very rare if you're going to see someone who's 7 years old and drinking beer or vodka, but things like that happens. But that's going to be, let's just leave that for a completely different subject, because that's not what we try to get it from here. But the thing is, you don't get drunk in early stages of your life. You're sober, right? So that's your natural state. And then when you get into the point when you start being, kind of too close on alcohol, the alcohol becomes your reality. Your reality changes. Your thinking changes. People around you as well, they shaping your thinking, behavior. So once you're gonna be coming to the point when you're getting sober, everything changes in your life again. And it's a shock and it's difficult. It's just because in many cases there will be like people doing sudden changes. Then if you're doing slow changes, they might still keep you, in perspective, you being again coming back to drinking because the change is not too big. Some people say to you that you shouldn't drop drinking straight away because you might have seizures, you might have this, you might have that, medical conditions. So that's why we have doctors, which they can provide us with some specific way how to do that safely. All places, whatever you can find these days, whatever is available in your area as well, because that might be very important. But then again, um, some people will tell to you that you should slow down, so you're being drinking this much, so you kind of a cutting on drinking. But these things are new. And when you try to do something, you know best how it works on you while you're doing it, and you get in your knowledge, so you're getting stronger, you're getting more comfortable with this stuff, so everything gets confident later. Very well, confidence is there. You know what to do. You know where you don't want to go. You know where you want to go. Another thing is as well. It's just like if you look from point of perspective, no one cannot talk to you through how you're supposed to feel and what you're supposed to expect from sobriety. Because look at this. We have 10 people sitting in AA meeting, for instance. 9 of them would be miserable as and then one of them is happy. You don't drink. You are in a place where you're not drinking anymore. Why you are so miserable about? Is that the place you wanted to come to? So first you've been punishing yourself that you don't drink. Now you know that you drink, and now you're punishing yourself that you don't drink. That's something not right, okay? Because you remember the days when you've been, for instance, being so drunk and then so hangover on the next day, and you've been kind of just feeling not well, and you've been waiting for this just to happen different way, that you want to be clean, you don't want to drink, you don't want to be back in this that miserable life which creates you all these anxieties, problems, financial, household wise, whatever, relationship, you want to call it whatever you want to call it. And now when you're in that spot, suddenly everything is bad again. How come? So it was bad there, now it's bad there. So there is many situations why people are getting back to drinking, because they've been told from the day one that being someone who's sober, you will suffer. Excuse me? I think this is the place where you want to be. That's the place of your, redemption. This is the place when you finally got that kingdom of free land, that you can do whatever you like. You're not being, kind of in a chain of drinking, of this, all these problems you've been creating. You've got sober mind. Everything's supposed to be better. But the trouble is, when we start getting sober, we getting kind of a, little pre-programmed ourselves. We're being pre-programmed by other people. How it's gonna be? It's gonna be tough. Oh, that's not easy. That's this. That. You should listen to yourself. You should create a plan for yourself. There is kind of a similarities in the stuff, because the only thing which gets you together with all these people is just alcohol. Okay? It doesn't mean that if they got that kind of a sobriety going for them, because they actually, technically speaking, missing drinking, and you are on a path when you want to be clean, you don't want to have nothing to do with this, so you kind of coming out clean on the other side, and you want to be clean, and you're happy because you're clean, so your life completely looks different way. That's why I never understood, like, so hold on a sec. So it's never gonna be great. I mean, you drinking is not great. You're not drinking, it's not great. So what do you want from life? Of course, you want to have sobriety. Of course, you want to have the good thing. But the trouble is, you're gonna have them people around you when they try to drag you down, keep you down. Oh, okay, I'm not drinking. You're not drinking. I'm not happy. You're happy. So I'm gonna do right now anything I can to keep you not happy as well, because you can be happy, right? You can be happy because I'm not happy. But that's what it is. That's why this journey is very, very, very individual. So it's your private journey, to be fair. And the only thing you have, and the only thing which actually keeps you together in that kind of a group of the people, is only that, unfortunately, not nice sweet spot for alcohol when you start drinking. Then it gets you to the specific place, to specific, situation in life, when so bad you don't want to be there anymore, you don't want to do this anymore, and you've been trying to find a way how to get yourself out of it. And that's what is the most important part, and that's what you should concentrate on. The same is with the people which they, let's say, drinking for a long time, and then they kind of, programming themselves to the point that, my Lord, I'm not gonna be drinking right now. Life is gonna be so misery. So it's gonna be bad. So it's gonna be this. I'm gonna be missing this. I'm gonna be missing that. Everything depends from the people around you. When you change the people around you, when you change things around you, when you start being happy from the little things, which they will give you all this joy of your life. And that's what is important with sobriety. And you have to remember that everyone goes differently through sobriety. And as I said about reaching that destination, if it's a bike, if it's, it's a train, some people getting faster, some people getting, a bit longer to the places and achieving something. That's why you shouldn't compare yourself to anybody. Whoever is in your position, like is trying to get sober or being sober or working on a sobriety, don't look at them. Look at it yourself. Look how much you achieved. Look how far you're going. Look how much difference is given to you. Majority will be on benefits anyway. So you're not gonna be later saying that you're in pain of because I'm not drinking for so long. It was hard. It was tough. Everything depends from the way of your thinking about the problem as well. It's like every day, right? You're waking up every day. If you're waking up angry on the morning, you're gonna be walking angry all day long. If waking up with some smile and you say to yourself, "It's gonna be a good day. Nothing will, just stop me today from it. So I'm gonna be happy about today." And it's great. And then that totally, put your life and put your day completely to the different perspective. So think about that. And who did that? It was you. You're thinking. You think you're wrong bad, it's bad. Thinking right, it goes right. And in any kind of a bad situation you will end up, you try always to justify the right way and justify in perspective that what can good I can take from this or what I can learn from that situation so it will protect me, will serve me, in the future. And that's what the good justifying is. Because the bad justifying is just the justifying how to stay on drinking, but the good justifying is the justifying to show you how to stay away from alcohol. And that is what I wish to you to have. Thanks for today. I hope this video was beneficial in any way to you. Maybe you are in similarities of situations and you're looking for some little answers. Hopefully you get something. I wish you sober day, sober evening, sober week, sober month, sober life. That would be fantastic. If you're interested with more, you know what to do. Take care of yourself. I shall see you later.